Greg Chick for DIYPlumbingAdvice.com. Today we're going to do a video on how to install a water treatment system for the whole house. This system here is by Water Inc. They make two. One's a smaller one, this is the larger one. This one will do 20 gallons a minute, and this softens the water. It doesn't make it pure. That's a different type of a treatment system. This system here does not need electricity, does not have to have discharge water, effluent, it does not have to have salt. You merely change out this canister once a year, or at the appropriate volume of water that's gone through it. That is, you can tell by looking at the gauge. There's a pressure limit. When that gets up to that, you know it's time to change the unit. This system here is really nice because HousePure by Water Inc. makes these canisters that you can buy at the store or online and have them mailed to you. And it's easy to do. This is a homeowner savvy, usable product. No professional services needed. This is where we're going to put the unit at a former location of a water softener. This location here has a bypass valve already. We're going to leave it there so that we can use that bypass valve and have the house water on if this canister needs changing or servicing or bypassing for any reason. It's an asset. I'm going to cut these off. I'm going to use these stainless steel flexes, which are full port inside. They're not restricted. And I'm going to come out of here into the new unit, out of the new unit, back into this existing bypass valve. Good old Milwaukee. Hopefully this thing unscrews. How about this one? These are tight. They've been there a while. If we have to, we can get out the big boys. This is the kind of job that takes a big wrench. Whew. This is where we're going to put this unit. We're going to set it on a cinder block and a piece of pressure treated wood, and that's going to make it stable. We're going to connect it with some tubes here. I'll show you what I'm going to do with complete brass fittings, no plastic except for the bushings into the body there. We're going to Teflon tape instead of pipe dope all of the brass nipples, and I'm going to push in each brass fitting and elbow separately, get it tight, and wing it out like that with these two of these. So here goes. I'm putting the tape on with some tension so that it is not sloppy loose. They say about 4 wraps. You would not want to use galvanized nipples here. PVC nipples are not approved by code to be indoors. But this fitting here, this device, comes with those bushings from the factory, and that is okay. professionally milled nipples screw into a point where in this size fitting 2.5 threads are exposed before the fitting is completely screwed on, meaning there should always be about 2.5 threads not screwed in if the nipple is screwed in all the way and if the nipple was threaded by a factory machine. So that's how you know kind of how far to push your luck here. If you've got 10 threads sticking out of a double nipple like that, you got to screw a little more. And there's about 5 total threads, so I know I'm correct. I grab the nipple in the center section so that I don't mark the threads that are going to be used. And then I can use the hub of the T. And this T, by the way, is there to have a hose bib of treated water after the unit so that he can have a hose to fill his pool or use soft water. This particular assembly here already has a T before this whole assembly right here that goes for all the cold piping on the hose bibs on the house. So all the hose bibs on this house are not being treated. They are not soft water. So he wouldn't have any soft water outside if I didn't put this T here. That's what I'm doing with this T. And I got about 5 threads, and those were factory nipples. Now the threads out here doesn't really need a Teflon tape because this is sealed on the face with the gasket inside that flex, but I use tape anyway so that the nut won't bind. Okay, I'm going to put a full port garden bib here, right here, instead of a standard no kink. If I were to use a standard no kink bib that looks kind of like this, they have a very small hole inside and the hose would be not at a really good angle. This is a nice angle here, and full port so he can fill up his pool or he can really get some water out to wash his car or his boat or whatever. Garden bibs are always better for flow capacity. And I'll probably send it maybe that way so it can go out instead of over here where it would have to kink or swing around. There's probably room right here to go out. Now we're going to put on and likewise these connectors are full port. They're not restricted port like the braided stainless steel hoses. These are full port flexible, corrugated flexible stainless steel connectors. You don't want to restrict the flow with a reduced inner diameter of a flex tube or a valve or anything. Flow is very important. Now these go onto, and these don't have to be real tight because the threads aren't making the seal. It's the gasket inside like a garden hose has. Now these are going to go on to the body, and like I said, these are factory supplied fittings. This product is listed to have these reducer bushings. That means that it's okay to use a PVC fitting on this. This housing is PVC. Now these likely have 2.5 threads exposed on each fitting. We'll see. It's kind of soft, so I'm going to keep going, but I'm not going to split the plastic body. So I don't see a need to go past that, just from experience. Female PVC housing there is not as strong as the bronze there. Now tape these brass bushings up, put them into the reducer fitting. This housing here will take 20 gallons a minute. We don't need that. We only have 1-inch water main and a 3/4 inch piping system. So these 3/4 inch flexes are all we need because they're not reduced port. Now on this one, there's about 2.5 threads there. We'll see here. And we don't really need tape on the connector, but I use it. It keeps the nut from binding. And I'm going to grab the body of this short nipple in the center. Not really hurting the threads anyway, but I'm not going to try not to gouge them up too much. And I see that I'm turning that, and now the big nut wants to turn. So I'm going to back it up so that I don't drive that PVC nipple or bushing into the body of the filter, causing the plastic filter body to split. That's plenty tight. That goes there. Okay, back it up. Now, this unit here is a right to left, meaning it comes in on the right and out on the left. If our supply was over here and our destination over here, we would have to swap these flexes. We don't, because we ordered a right to left canister head. They come either way. These flex tubes allow service and a good way to not have any alignment issues, because you can do it at any position you want. Right there. Okay. Now let me line this up a little different. I think winging those straight out is going to make it a little nicer. And we can also use this hose bib for a pressure gauge. And this is a good way to check the pressure. Now, everything is in the bypass mode. So let's put it in the not bypass mode. There. And now all we have to do is turn on the water and check for leaks. And there's going to be some air in here that I might be able to blow out of here. So I'll use my little bucket and I'll use that to catch some air. Always open valve slowly. I hear the air blowing out. Solid flow of water. No air in here. Water valve all the way on. Off. Pressure at about 39. Pretty low pressure for a house, but if he can get by with getting the soap out of his hair with that pressure, more power to him. He'll use far less water and have far less leaks. So this is pretty much a plug and play product, but when you're using water after about a year or something, when you're drawing water, if this pressure gauge drops too much, 10 psi, that's obvious that this canister is restricting and it's full and it needs changing. So let's shoot for about a year, and when that does occur, what you do, in this case, we have a shutoff valve to the house right here at the point of entry to the building. And at this house, we also have a pressure regulator, which is good because it keeps the pressure below 80. And if your pressure is above 80, you need to have a regulator because these units do not like pressure over 80 psi. The owner's manual says so. So you turn off the water or you put it in bypass, your choice, and push this button to relieve the pressure of this canister. That's quite a bit. Let me see if I can isolate the house from it so that we don't have to waste that much water and just remove the water, the pressure from these. That's it. Then I keep the tool to spin this off right here because that's where you need it. And then you just take this wrench and spin off the cartridge all the way off. Take out the old one. The directions for this say take a couple tablespoons of bleach, put in this blue canister, let it sit for about an hour with the water in it, and then pour it out, and then put your new canister in there, and then put the canister up and tighten it back. And it doesn't have to be super tight because this is an O-ring seal, but you just want to have it tight enough to where it doesn't leak. And that's plenty tight. So I have my wrench I keep here, and then I can turn the water back on, check for leaks. Now, the owner's manual will tell you with almost any cartridge that you need to lubricate the O-ring in there. You can use Vaseline, or you can buy a silicone lubricant or a Teflon lubricant just for this. And you put it on that O-ring and on these threads so that this comes on and off really easy without binding. Other than that, there's no other maintenance needed for this. You just have soft water for about a year. Can you do it? Yes, you can, and I can help. Thank you for watching DIYPlumbingadvice.com, and please watch the attached video, the other video that talks about the options and issues of selecting a water treatment system, either a softener or one that's for cleaning up the water, or as they say, purifying the water. Thanks for watching. Let's start that over because... Yeah.